Hola, espero que todo está bien. Hoy vamos a hacer dos actividades para celebrar unos cuentos de la Biblia. Oh, sorry about that. See, today we're talking about the Tower of Babel. And we're also talking about Pentecost Day, as a matter of fact. Well, how are those things related at all? You'll find out. See, it's sort of awesome because at Pentecost, people came together and there was this speaking of tongues where people could understand languages that weren't their own. And it's kind of a reversal of the story of the Tower of Babel. In the Tower of Babel, the people tried to somehow achieve heaven on their own. They tried to build this amazing tower that would show how great they were and somehow reach heaven, reach God. And so their languages were confused and they separated. Well, many, many years later at Pentecost, they waited on God, relied on His Spirit, and came together. So it's sort of this turning around. Instead of separating from language, they came together, and language wasn't a barrier because they relied on God. Well, at any rate, we are going to make a couple of crafts today that celebrate those stories and how they go together. The first craft we're going to make is a tower of Babel in a sense, or a tower to remember that story. Now, if you want to get extra creative and turn this into a piggy bank or a knock it over game with balls, go for it. But we are going to make the tower today. So we're going to start out by taking whatever kind of container you have. We're going to cover it with some paper. So once I cover it with my paper, we're going to write some fun captions to put on it, and you'll see what happens next because it's going to be reversible. Anyways, here we go. So I've got my lovely container that I'm going to cover in its entirety here. And one side of my container is going to recall the negative part of what happened in the story of the Tower of Babel. And on the other side, I'm going to recall why we need to rely on God instead. So we're going to make a couple of little captions to honor that. But first, I've got my tower covered here. Now, if you would like, you are more than welcome to add some extra embellishments. You can add some stickers if you want. You can add some glitter if you're feeling adventurous, whatever you like. Now, at the top here, we're going to actually glue some cotton balls to represent the clouds, because in the story, these people were trying to kind of get their way into heaven. They thought that they could somehow be good enough to access God on their own, or to get to heaven on their own power and do these great, amazing things. So we're going to have some clouds here, and we're going to have our little caption will say something like, you can't build or brag your way into heaven. Now I'm also going to write down here something like, to remember what this is, the Tower of Babel. And of course, you're also more than welcome to add extra notes and verses on here. So here's my initial caption. You can't build or brag your way into heaven. Let me scoot that over just a little bit. There we go. Right up there in the clouds. Now you can add, maybe I want to add some more clouds or some more colors or whatever you like. On the other side, I'm going to make another caption and add another fun element here. So on this side, we're going to remember that Jesus is the only way. And so here, I'm going to attach my caption here. And then up here, I'm going to attach a cross, which I have already cut out for the interest of timing. So here is my, you can put it on either side here. Here's my lovely cross to remember that only Jesus will get us into heaven. So there we have it. Cross on one side to remember the good part of the story. Clouds on the other side to remember the negative part. And of course, as I mentioned, you can always add more to this, more stickers, more crosses, more clouds, more languages, more whatever. But have fun with that as your lovely Tower of Babel. And if you want to make it really tall and stack containers on containers on containers, go for it. I happen to be someone that really never throws out containers because they make great crafts, but that's just me. Our next craft is going to celebrate that people came together at Pentecost. And so we're going to make a special hanging, almost a windsock reminder, because Pentecost involved wind too, but we're not getting too into that. We're going to make a hanging tower reminder that the people were brought closer together and understood one another's language. So this is going to be what I like to call my fun swirly plate craft. This technique can also be used to make snakes or clouds or lightning bolts or lots of other fun things. But anyways, here we go. So we've got our plate. Now, to give ourselves some help here, we're going to start in the middle and draw a wide swirl like a snail shell. So give yourself enough space that you can write on here. And we're going to mark. We're going to say Hallelujah, which just so happens to be the same in most languages, really. And we will say God brought people together. I'm writing in red because red is a nice Pentecost color. At Pentecost. I could also say something like, rely on the Holy Spirit, or wait and rely. I'm giving you a lot of optional phrases here. You don't have to use all of these. Wait and rely on God. And then if you want to also just make this pretty, we can add some colors. We can do some red since Pentecost is red. You can go to town and have fun with it. So once you've got your plate, you can add glitter, you can add stickers, you can add all kinds of fun things. Once you've got it all nicely decorated, here comes the other fun part. We are going to cut it. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut your plate on this line, being careful not to cut all the way through it, of course. And then we can make it into a fun little swirly, swirly, boingy, boingy, windsock type thing. You will see momentarily. So here we go. We're going to cut it. I find it's easiest to start on the outside. Have adult supervision if you are working with younger students. And we're just going to cut all around where that swirly mark is. And as you can see, it looks like it's unraveling. And this is kind of part of the story as well, because we're talking about how the people were separated and spread apart when they did not put God first and foremost in all things, but when they waited on the Holy Spirit, relied on Him, they came back together. So here we have our, ta-da, there we go. We have our plate that looks like it's all spread out and separated and strung apart, just like at Pentecost or at the Tower of Babel it was, but we can bring it back together. And you also, I would recommend, sorry, I forgot this, put some sort of a cross in the center to remember to keep Jesus in the center of all things. So, ta-da! And then to make this something that you could hang up, we're going to pop a hole in the top and put a string through it. That way, if you want to, you can hang this up and have it be a fun reminder of Pentecost, of putting Jesus first and foremost, and of keeping God at the center of all things. So there you have your lovely Pentecost swirly boing boing ribbon windsock thing of many wonders, and your Tower of Babel, leaning Tower of Babel maybe. Anyways, the cat says hello. Feel free to adapt and tweak this as much as you'd like to. You can focus on one story or another story, whatever works best for you and for your crew. But don't forget to tune in, because every week we have new craft ideas and children's message ideas for you and your ministry, wherever and with whomever it may be, whether kids or cats or anyone in between. So go make some crafts, get creative, make some disciples, and we will see you next time.